Hello, my name is Danae, and I am going to address the issue of reference services to English language learners. This is a presentation based on my observation in a public library. So first, I want to introduce the public library to you. It is ranked the second in the state of Michigan for its population category by Hennen's American Public Library Ratings, fourth overall in Michigan, and 10th in the United States for its population category. The library, the city that the library is in, reaches a population of 81,000 and ranks as the second most diverse city in Michigan. With that being said, the primary clientele are members of various ethnic groups. There are some statistics of cardholders and visits of the public library in 2012-13. And my thesis, or my conclusion to my observation, is that due to its diverse community, the public library is responsible to further improve its reference services to non-native language-speaking patrons. So the problem, reference services. During my observation, I noticed some patrons at the library had limited English proficiency. The librarian's response to these patrons was to give them a piece of paper and a pencil to write down their question because they could not understand the patron's English. This is not the best practice. The patrons may not be able to write their question, or they will feel ashamed, intimidated, or frustrated by the fact that they could not communicate what they wanted to the librarian in English. There is a term called library anxiety, coined in 1986. It is a theory that suggests when confronted with the need to gather information in the library for their first research paper, many patrons become so anxious that they are unable to approach the problem logically or effectively. This study was directed toward students, but it's also applicable to the general public as well. A later study hypothesized that library anxiety plus non-native English speakers is a result of library anxiety due to the inability to communicate in English. So the non-native English speakers feel library anxiety not because of their inability to conduct research, but due to their inability to communicate in English. The objective of the study was to draw a correlation between foreign language anxiety and library anxiety, and the study concluded that these anxieties do interfere when using the library services, and it doesn't matter whether it's due to research inability or language inability. Anxiety is a barrier to accessing the library services and resources. So my solution for this problem is to revamp the reference interview. In our required reading, Bopp and Smith explain that studies have proven that a positive interaction between the patron and the librarian are more important than the accuracy of the answers that were received by the patrons. So when the librarian is willing and responsive and able to interact well with the patron, that's more important. One of the ways that the librarian can do this is by using resources, translator resources. This is just one example. As you can see down here, there is numbers that you can call based on the city and the language of the native language that the patron speaks. You can call and the patron can translate what they are trying to communicate. Also, an estimated 25% of the library staff speaks a second language, which can also help in communicating past language barriers. An additional solution is to actively support literacy campaigns, and this is actually something that the library is doing. I visited a talk time where they tutored ELLs for 2 hours, provided a brief lecture and worksheets that helped students understand daylight savings and some English idioms related to time. So in conclusion, by bettering the reference interview and supporting literacy campaigns, the library legitimizes the importance to the community, it gains public awareness, and it further strengthens its sense of purpose to other members of the community.